All right. So this is the lecture number 2 on qualitative analysis, right? And we are dealing with the identification of the cations, right? So in lecture number 1, we completed till copper 2 ion, right? And we have discussed that what will happen when we add few drops of sodium hydroxide and excess amount of sodium hydroxide, and even we also talk about the few drops of ammonia, aqueous ammonia, and excess amount of ammonia, right? So कॉपर 2 आयंस की हमने अभी तक ये देखा था कि अगर हम एक्वस अमोनिया डाल रहे हैं उसमें फ्यू ड्रॉप्स, when we add few drops of aqueous ammonia, so we observe the light blue ppt, okay? And whereas when we add the excess amount of ammonia in the sample that contains, if it contains copper 2 ions, so it will give us ppt dissolves. This is going to be the result after adding the excess amount of ammonia in the sample that contains copper 2 ions. Okay. So the PBT will be dissolved in the excess amount of aqueous ammonia. Okay. Right. And then it will give off or to form a deep blue solution. Deep blue solution. Right. Allahu Akbar. All right. So now let's move to um, another cation, that is iron 2. Iron 2, sorry. Iron 2 ion, that is Fe2 positive 2, right? Fe positive 2. All right. So when we add sodium hydroxide, few drops of sodium hydroxide in the sample that contains iron 2, so it will give us green PPT, right? कब होगा ये green PPT मिलेगा? In few drops of sodium hydroxide, NaOH, right? When we add the excess amount of sodium hydroxide in the sample, if it contains iron 2 ion, then the PPT will be insoluble in excess. Clear? I hope that it is much clear. And now these two columns for adding few drops of ammonia, aqueous ammonia, and this column is for the addition of excess amount of ammonia. Okay. So in addition of aqueous ammonia, few drops. Okay. Let me write few drops. Okay. Few drops. So we will be able to observe green PPT, right? The same result that will appear here. And in excess amount of what? Excess amount of aqueous ammonia, we will observe PPT will remain insoluble in excess. Okay. PPT will remain insoluble in excess. Okay. Now let's discuss iron 3. ion, that is Fe positive 3. When you add few drops of sodium hydroxide, you will get reddish brown PPT. ठीक है, ये आपका जो रस्ट होता है ना, आप उसको उससे भी आप याद कर सकते हो. ओके, ठीक है. नाउ adding excess amount of sodium hydroxide in the sample, if that sample contains iron positive 3, so the PPT will remain or will be insoluble in excess, right? Okay. When you add aqueous ammonia in the sample, so iron 3 will give us reddish brown PPTs. Okay, and PPT means precipitate. I think everyone knows what precipitate is. Okay, acha ji. Now on adding aqueous ammonia in excess, so the PPT is insoluble in excess, right? Okay. अब हम लास्ट वाला एक कर लेते हैं, और वो है हमारा, जो हमारा आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ कैटाइंस कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, एंड दैट इज अमोनियम आयन, राइट? Right. So ammonium ion, you all know that ammonium ion is basically when we heat the substance that contains the ammonium ion, so there would be no PPT, ठीक है? But on heating, ammonia gas is given off, right? This will uh, tell us the ammonium ions are present, right? And how are we going to test that ammonia gas is given off? We can use a blue litmus paper, right? And that blue litmus paper will turn to a red. Okay. What about this one? अगर हम इसको एक्सेस उसमें डाल देते हैं सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड में, so no change is observed, right? No change is observed. That means that it is going to behave as the same, right? As observed, right? As it is behaving in the few drops of what? Few drops of sodium hydroxide. And you know that nothing is going to happen when you add ammonia, right? Since ammonium, any sample that contains ammonium ion cannot react with the ammonia, aqueous ammonia. Why? Because उसके अंदर ammonia already है, वो ammonia से react कहाँ पे करेगी? ठीक है? So that's all about the identification of cations. In the next lecture, we will be discussing the identification of anions. ठीक है जी? Okay, अल्लाह हाफिज़, अस्सलाम वालेकुम.